Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with our Toolbox Extra guests, but first, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, you've heard me say many times, these are companies I used as an AD. They're great companies. You should add them to your team. So take 3 minutes, don't hit that fast forward button, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Toolbox Extra guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Hometown for their support of the podcast. Hometown continues to be a leader in education-based athletics with their suite of solutions that includes things like, well, digital ticketing, of course, but how about fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction? The list just goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a coach, even a principal, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. You'll find it all at hometown.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. You've heard me say many times before, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their great products today. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, even your parents, you're really missing out on a great opportunity. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that really connects you to everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. We also want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every day for things like scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Home Campus does all of these things and more, and it does it better and faster than the other platforms. Go to homecampus.com, and don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Beacon Creative is part of their Content Matters philosophy, and their team of writers and designers work with you to help make your digital tribute shine. They're going to provide all the resources to help you celebrate your rich history and highlight your proudest moments. Go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and click on Content Services for more information. That's Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Let's say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant AD did, along with thousands of others. And while they were getting their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Your coaches, your student athletes, even your parents are going to be glad you did. That's huddle.com. We also want to say thanks to Booster Hub. It's the #1 booster club software program. And things like sponsorship fees, concession sales, you name it, everything goes through Booster Hub's secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes, you know it's going to happen. Nothing falls through the cracks and everything stays secure. Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve. And that platform is Booster Hub. Finally, we want to say thanks to Gipper. Gipper is the modern marketing platform that makes it easy for your athletic department to look Division I, to look professional. Gipper is used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. How is it so easy? Gipper's thousands of professionally designed templates that you can easily customize in your colors, your content, your brand, your logo. Create, share, and schedule all your social media content in one simple platform, and that platform is Gipper. Go to Gipper.com for more information. And as always, tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment that we call the Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners will certainly recognize the name Missy Smith from my home state of Oregon. If you're new to the podcast, I encourage you to go back to our Spotify archives. Missy's been on as a full interview. She's been on a couple of other times for Toolbox Extras or Wednesday Wisdoms. Just real quickly, she's a longtime coach and athletic director in the state of Oregon. She now works for the state association, the OSAA, and does a tremendous job. Today, she's going to be sharing another leadership activity that she's involved with. But Missy Smith, welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Well, you and I were talking earlier. It's spring season, I think for athletic directors and state associations. It's got to be the busiest time of the year. There's so many sports going on. For our listeners, we're recording this on May 5th, so it's going to be very timely as you listen to it. Missy's also a certified master athletic administrator, and as I mentioned, longtime AD and coach, so she is definitely one of us. Missy, go ahead and share a little bit about what you do at the OSAA, and then also share you got a special activity you're going to give us some information about.
You bet. Just ending up my third year here at the OSAA. I oversee all of volleyball, all of basketball, all of softball. We just sanctioned boys volleyball. Actually going to meet with the news this afternoon to talk about that first championship that I'll get to put on this year. And then I also oversee softball and golf. That's the other one that I have. So it's a busy spring. As you can see, I got 3 sports about to kick off here in about a week. So it's busy time getting everything ready and all the venues set and volunteers and our PA systems, everybody up and running and ready to roll. So it's almost go time.
Yeah, no, and again, I work, I'm leaving literally this afternoon to head to Jacksonville. I'm one of the lead officials for our state track meet, which is a 4-day affair, and always amazed at how our state association brings everything together. And again, growing up in Oregon and Washington, I know what a great job the OSAA does. Missy, you've always been, advocate for all sports, but in particular, girls and women's sports. And I know you've got a couple of activities that you're deeply involved with, very passionate about. Can you share with our listeners a little bit on that venue?
Yeah, you bet. So one of the things that I also oversee at the OSA office is our student leadership program. So we have a committee of about 20 kids from all over the state. This last year, we kicked it off with a overnight retreat, because what I was finding in my first couple of years is that you couldn't really get that bonding and that interaction on Zoom that you can get if kids don't know each other. It reminded me of being back in COVID. I know no one likes to talk about that, but everybody has their screens off, they're listening, you're talking at them, and it's over. So we did something different this last year. We kicked it off with a 2-night overnight retreat up at Larry Steele's Camp Cedar Ridge, the out there in Vernonia, and had a remarkable time. I mean, these kids are all like really good friends now. The meetings were a lot more meaningful and a lot more interactive. So we're really trying, that's what I'm passionate about. I mean, all the other stuff is awesome too, but that's where I really get to see some difference making and some things happen. So we kicked that off. So overseeing student leadership, we had that great event. And then we went into this fall and we did a captain's camp for boys and girls that lead or aspire to lead. So what does that mean? Every kid in the state of Oregon is invited to it because we hope they all aspire to lead. So that was a great event. We held that down in Eugene. And then the thing that's most dear to my heart is the used to be named the Oregon Girls Sports Leadership Summit, which is a mouthful. And last year we actually hired a company and we rebranded it. And now it's the Playmakers Summit, and you can find it online. Our website is super interactive. We've got tons of pictures and photos. You can see all of our guest speakers, our panelists. We're all pro and college athletes. It was a remarkable day. So we just finished year 9 of that event. And so that took place on April 18th. So we just finished that up, and we had to close registration down at 600 just because I was a little nervous how it would go. I think we could still fit probably 800 or so into the space we use. So next year we'll make it even bigger and better for year 10.
Wow, that 600, that's incredible. And I took the liberty of going to the website earlier. Um, it mentions student athletes, coaches, and team administrators. What a incredible undertaking to put on a quality program, and it's obviously growing each year. How do you bring it all off?
Well, it's a passion project of mine. I brought it before I was doing this before I came to the OSAA, and I said I'd like to continue. And of course, Peter Weber's like, let's do it. So a lot of the work that happens, we have a committee. We joked about it actually at the opening remarks. We have a huge committee of 3 people. It's myself, my office administrator, Angela Thomas, who was at OES with me, and then my daughter, who's a junior in college. This year was pretty cool because she was able to rally 4 different colleges athletes to come to Portland and lead the breakout sessions for those girls. So we had kids from PLU, Willamette, University of Puget Sound, and University of Portland all in attendance. And then when we did the breakout sessions, they took those kids to those classrooms and they led them. So pretty special, but she took the lead on all of that. She takes care of all of our social media, and really getting a chance to do some intentional leadership is what we want. So it's been really fun. So a lot of text strains, and because she's up in Tacoma and I'm down here, but she comes down and she moderated the 45-minute panel of pro athletes and did those things. So once the day starts, I kind of get to step back and watch the magic work. So I'm pretty lucky on that.
Now, again, obviously, there's a student athlete focus, but you also have coaches and administrators and sessions for them. What's some of the, what are some of the activities for the coaches and the admin, and what's some of the feedback you've gotten from them?
Yeah, so we a couple years ago, there used to be a Oregon Women's Sports Leadership Network, and they ran a clinic for women coaches. And that kind of all the people that were running that were retiring and getting older and going off to Florida and places. So we were like, okay, we need to do something to keep that going. So I said, why don't we absorb it into this? Coaches are already bringing their female athletes. We can give them a track to learn and grow, work on professional development. But I said, we need to take it one step further. We need to invite our male counterparts that are coaching those girls. Why could it only be for women coaches? So we've extended that, and to administrators, right? Administrators that are working with teams and working with coaches. So that's really taken off and helped us. We cover everything from how to deal with injuries, and not so much like preventative and rehab, but how do you deal with them mentally? How do you make those kids stand by you for 2.5 hours at practice and they can't do anything when they could be doing physical therapy at their just different ideas of ways of thinking. We did a great piece on core values, like how do you build your teams around expectations, mission statements, those type of things, and really get into the meat of being a coach. And then we did some stuff on mental health, because I think it's a huge issue right now in athletics for boys and girls. So those were some of our breakouts. Sessions. Our student athletes, they worked on, trying to decide a lot around communication. We think that that's probably a big factor. So we did a couple really fun interactive breakout sessions around knowing how you communicate. And we used the color analogy of, if I'm a red, I want to know what time it is. Don't tell me how that clock's made. I want to know a time. And then we talked about, maybe the person that's a yellow, and they need to know, how the clock's made and slow it down, and just how that can make teams successful. That's just one example. And then we have a student, or that pro and athlete college panel. Oh my gosh, they were amazing. And they just share a lot of their stories, the things that were tough, the things that they fought through, the things that, they want to see continue, and how much they've seen the sport grow. So we really got a lot of time to, I think, give some tools. We talked about tools, right, in the toolbox. You do? I mean, that's what our goal was. Like, what can we give these student athletes, these coaches, these administrators going forward, so that they could be successful starting the next day? Things to inspire them. So I felt like it was very successful in that realm.
Wow, just tremendous. And again, we'll give this out at the end of the end of this segment. The website is Playmakers with an S, playmakerssummit.com. Is it too early to start making plans for 2027?
No, I actually have it on my to-do list this week. We'll probably go for that same Saturday in April. It seems to be a great day that, we're able to pull a pretty big contingency from all over. We're always going to have conflicts in athletics around, anytime we do it, but that seems to be a time that works pretty well in the schedule. And with OES, OES has been a big supporter and they allow us to use their venue for free. They actually were a big supporter this year. They made lunch. And when I say made lunch, there was a pasta sit down lunch for 600 people through their service. The Bon Appetit donated all of that. So again, we've got some great partnerships, and I think that just kind of adds to a great day.
No, okay. It sounds tremendous. I guess I'm going to have to add an April trip. As you know, we always come out to Oregon in the summer, but I'm going to have to attend that. It sounds very cool. Let's go and talk a little bit about Oregon high school sports. Now, again, you're the, I probably say this wrong, Associate Executive Director, Assistant Executive Director for OSAA. From your position, what are some things that you see that your state association has done maybe in recent years that you can brag about? And then I'm going to put you on the spot. What's something that, maybe the executive board's working on, but it hasn't come through yet, or maybe a passion project of yours for OSAA that you're still trying to get developed. Let's talk about the stuff that you've done first. What's good about OSAA in recent years?
Well, I think we're really growing student leadership. All of we plan this fall to do 2 captains camps, one in the Central Oregon, one in Eastern Oregon. We're going to get out and do that, one in Southern Oregon. So again, as we can get across the state, because all the kids can't get to the Portland area, the metro area. So that's something we're pretty proud of. Boys volleyball just got sanctioned. So I'll get a chance to give out the first state trophy this year for boys volleyball. That's pretty exciting. Girls flag football will go to a vote for our delegate assembly and our board this fall. And if it passes, it will start next spring. It will be sanctioned. So, we haven't had a lot of new sports. I mean, gosh, for 10, 20 years, I don't even know the exact date, but it's been a long time. So this is exciting. We're starting to see growth, but we're also seeing some declines in some sports. We're starting to see numbers drop, and we're seeing some numbers drop in girls basketball. Well, I think it's because girls wrestling is huge. It's growing leaps and bounds, and it's a new sport for a lot of kids. So the skill set's different, right, than basketball. So that growth. I think softball is starting to decline a little bit numbers, but again, we got flag football. We have these other options for girls to participate in. So, those are some of the things I'm seeing.
Sidebar here. So, I hope I'm not going into the weeds. In Florida, we've had boys volleyball for a number of years. It's tremendously popular. Also flag football for a number of years, and both are spring sports. And we always talk about how busy the spring season is. With flag football, was there or has there been any discussion in Oregon about? And I don't know of a state that does this, but I think on one hand it makes sense. Was there any talk in Oregon about having girls flag football be a fall sport and maybe somehow partner it, play the flag game before the varsity game and, work on the crowds and that, because it's a great sport.
Yeah. No, I actually watched the ESPN. They had a playoff, and I believe it was in Florida, South Florida, and somebody else was playing not long ago. And I was like, oh, wow, this is just fun to watch. But there wasn't much discussion. There was a little bit, but spring is where it's been falling here. I thought the same thing with boys volleyball. In my mind, since I oversee girls volleyball, I thought, it could make sense just stacking it like basketball because it wouldn't be any different.
Yeah.
But it just didn't get that momentum and it didn't come to the board that way. So it's a spring sport for now. And we make it happen. But, I think there's got to be a little give, because the more that spring just keeps diluting, right? Or kids are trying to do two sports, and, those
Yeah.
things are happening as it's been. I'm sure we'll have a ton of kids that are doing track and they're playing flag or softball and flag, and boys volleyball and track. I think there's a lot of that, and it will be interesting because the boys finals are going to be the track and field weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in its first year.
Mhm. Now, again, you got me thinking track. Where do you do your state high school track meet? Where are the championships at?
Tracktown USA, Hayward Field.
Okay, absolutely.
Best place, best place, right? I mean, there's nothing better than running in the evening at Hayward Field. Well,
Yeah.
anytime, but that evening finals is pretty amazing.
I don't think you can say, I think you have to say historic Hayward Field.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
all right, here's where I'm going to put you on the spot. What's an initiative, maybe through the state, maybe through you, that it's out there, but it hasn't happened yet. Anything you can share with us that's on the planning table or the dream table?
Well, I think, probably one of the things that's probably been out there, and we just keep trying to figure out what the answer is sportsmanship. I mean, it keeps getting worse and worse every year. So we've got a couple initiatives. We've got a STAR program out there that needs to get some teeth and some momentum, and we've got to get some more people involved. But I think that's probably one of the big initiatives of, where we need to go. I mean, the amount of complaints, emails, forms that we get, calls in this office, and 90% of the complaints are sportsmanship. And it's just tough. I mean, we always talk about officials and losing officials, and I think we just have to keep pushing that area more than anything. But other than that, I think our biggest initiatives have really been just adding to our plate. We're growing and our office isn't growing, and so I think it's just kind of trying to keep up with everything.
Yeah, and again, it's easy. I talked about going off in the weeds. It's easy to get pulled into the weeds as a high school administrator or as a state association administrator. Missy, always great to catch up with you. And again, you do such a tremendous job. If one of our listeners wanted to pick your brain a little bit more as a longtime coach or AD, or as a state association assistant executive director, or listeners, if you want to find out more about the Playmakers Summit, what's the best way that they can connect with Missy Smith?
Email is great, missys@osaa.org, or call the office and have them connect me. I'm more than happy to have those conversations. Probably the highlight of my days are when coaches and ADs give me a call and have questions or resources they need. It's a lot more fun than looking at violations and eligibility and complaints. So I'm always open to those conversations. So please reach out at any time, and if you can get here for the Playmakers Summit and coming from out of state, let us know, and we can help you with some cheaper hotels and things like that. We'd love to have people.
Okay. And I don't think we talked about this. What's the cost to attend the Playmakers Summit?
It is $0. It's very important to me that we keep it that way, so that we're inclusive and that we're a resource for everyone. I don't want to put a price on that. So I'm out hustling, but we do run it through our foundation, which is great. So when people do want to donate or get involved, those are 100% tax write-offs because they go right into the OSA foundation. So It's good.
I'm going to mention that one more time. So to attend this national conference, okay, with professional development, national speakers, tremendous opportunity. It doesn't cost anything. So Playmaker Summit, when that link gets activated, sign up, register, and become a part of something really big, really special. Missy, thanks again for sharing. All the best for the rest of the spring, and hopefully we can connect this summer when we come out.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
For our listeners, it's always great to have you tune in. And just a reminder that we upload all the episodes that we record to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do the Toolbox Extra just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again for the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Hey, as always, before we go, let's give a shout out to our great sponsors. Let's go and start with Booster Hub. It's the #1 Booster Club software platform. Go to boosterhub.com to get more information. Home Campus. It's a platform you're going to use every day, and it does scheduling, rosters, results, communication, eligibility, facilities. It does all these things better and faster than the other platforms. Check out Home Campus. Tell them you heard about it on the podcast. Athletic surveys. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Hometown. Not scheduling, but fundraising, digital ticketing, and a lot more. Go to hometown.com. Find out all the things they can do for you and your program. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Check out sidelineinteractive.com. Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As a AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Check out Content Services. You're going to be glad you did. Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Check them out. And finally, let's say you need to check out Gipper.com. Go to Gipper.com. Turn your social media platform into something world class. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.